Educated Queens channel. On my channel, we're going to talk about education, what's going on in the news, and things that just really grinds my gears. Or in other words, for those of you who may not be of age to know what that is, things that just piss me off. Number one, let me go ahead and get this to what's fresh on my heart. I'm driving down the road, me and my husband on our way to Louisiana, and we seen a state trooper have someone pulled over. So the polite thing to do was get over in the other lane so we would not, risk, tapping them or anything else. And I stayed in that lane. The state trooper was done basically. So I saw him get over and start driving, and there was a truck in front of me. I was about to try to pass him. And so I was staying in the left lane, and then I was going to try and pass that lane. But I said, you know what? Nah, state troopers and police, they do all kind of crazy, dirty stuff. So I'm going to just get back in the right lane. And so that's what I did. Put my signal light on, make sure I had enough room in front of me, and, make sure that he was far enough behind me. So I got over. I put my signal light on to get off. Tell me why as soon as I did that, he threw his lights on. So, pulled over. What's the problem, officer? I pulled you over because your registration is expired. I said, you saw that from back there? You saw that my registration was expired from behind me? No, I ran your plate. My husband. Oh, I thought that's legal. Y'all can do that? You can get behind a person and just run their plates. I wasn't swerving. I didn't cross over in front of somebody. I wasn't driving reckless. Wasn't speeding. I don't understand. Yeah, it's legal. Officer Moss, it didn't make any sense for me to run down why my tag expired, why, it is what it is. But here's my thing. 5'5", skinny, looked like he got bullied in high school. That's really I wanted to say. You got a friend. You got friends. That's really what I wanted to say. What really grinds my gears about police officer is how they try to abuse their power. What was your reason for pulling me over? Yeah, that's true. My registration is expired. Yep. But how is it okay for a police officer to just run your plate if there was no suspicion? Was there a bolo out for the type of vehicle I was in? Was I doing something illegal? It should be illegal. It should be abuse of power for when they do that. I don't think that's fair. Okay, moving on. I just had to get that off my chest because it's been on my heart for a couple of days now. So back to my introduction. Hi, my name is Frances Shantae. And on this channel, we're going to talk about all things education, things that's going on in the news, things that's happening with children, because children are my heart. Aww. For example, a lot of things I'm going to talk about one thing I'm going to talk about a good bit on this channel. I'm saying good bit. Oh, that was so uneducated. One thing I'm going to talk about on this channel, you'll hear a lot, is unaddressed learning gaps and how that affects teachers, how it affects parents. I will talk to different educators, get their point of view. We'll talk to parents, and we'll also talk to administrators. The reason I want to talk about that, for one, is that that's a major problem in the educational system. Unaddressed learning gaps are basically when children are missing certain skills and they're promoted. When kids take benchmark tests, for example, MAP, or in Louisiana they take the LEAP test. Here they take STAR, and when they take it, STAR isn't a benchmark, but let's see, MAP test they take at the beginning of the year. They take it in the middle of the year and at the end of the year. So that's considered a benchmark test. At the beginning of the year, gives teachers a starting point. It shows teachers what they're missing. For example, a third grade teacher has 20 students. 10 of her students tested on grade level, on third grade level. 5 tested on second grade level, and another 5 tested, I'm just going to say, kindergarten level. Yes, it happens. Third graders test on kindergarten levels. Now, who's to blame? Or do we blame anyone? Let me give you my perspective. And this is based on experience. It's based on, I can give it to you from a parent's point of view as well as a teacher's point of view. As a teacher, everybody's not going to be on grade level. That's just a fact. Everybody's not going to learn at the same pace as other students. So that's why teachers grasp it. I may have to give Jimmy manipulatives, or I may have to give Jimmy things that he can use with his hands to demonstrate the skill I'm trying to convey. And then you just have to provide sometimes 3 different grade levels of instruction. Is that fair? For me, I believe that I'm supposed to be in education. Am I supposed to be in the classroom? Am I going to stay in the classroom? That remains to be seen. So, still from a teacher's perspective, I think that, and I have had these situations in my classroom before, and I've seen growth based on it. Now, it's not easy. And what we're seeing is a lot of teachers who come into education and they're young. I'm going to let you guess my age. I'm young, but there are some teachers who are younger than me, and they're not able to grasp the concept of children being 2 and 3 grade levels under, and they still have to teach them. They still have to differentiate the instructions for them. And sometimes I'm using 20 students in third grade as an example, but sometimes it may be 25 students and 15 are not on grade level. A lot of the younger teachers are leaving the classroom because of that situation. And it's just my opinion. Some people don't have support. They don't have the tools they need to guide students in the right direction when they are a grade level under or 2 grade levels under, and it's frustrating on top of everything else you have to deal with. There's so many things fumbling through my mind that I want to address. That's why I really started this channel. Also, if you're watching this video and you would like for me to cover a topic, send me a message and we'll get into it.